Less about Alien Earth and the latest episode. Yeah, we are so close to the finale that it is crazy. It's been a long ride, but we are finally here, but it still feels very short. I still want some more episodes. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we hear that they're going to continue in some capacity. I don't know how the hell this series is going to end though, because I still feel like there's so much we have to get through. But let's talk about the next episode, which is going to be Emergence. If you haven't checked out our previous episode about The Fly, which was episode 6, go check out that video where we talk more about what happened, our thoughts on all of that. But now all hell has broken loose on the ship, as we have seen that now slightly and Morrow's plan has gone into motion, and the person that was chosen, unluckily of course, is Arthur. Arthur of course was fired in this episode because he didn't want to go and restore Nibs, but Dame actually did this, so we see that there's going to be a bit of a divide there between the two. But it seems that there will be no time for sorries, because Arthur of course now has a face hugger on his face. Toodles has met their demise, and Wendy seems to be really getting into the spirit of rebelling against Prodigy. Boy has no idea what the hell's going on. He's still barely coming back from his Utani trip. Let's talk about this next episode and its trailer and what we saw. One of the big things in this episode that we got previously that I think we're going to be seeing in the next episode based on the trailer is that Joe is deadly serious that he wants to get Wendy off of Prodigy. We saw that in the previous episode he talked to Arthur, and Arthur knew that they were being watched, so he decided to type it out for him that yeah, indeed, you want to get the hell out of here with Wendy. Here's the code to the boat. Just get out. Don't come back. So yeah, it seems that Wendy and Joe could be plotting an escape, but Wendy might not come. We've seen it in the previous episode that she says that maybe she wants to stay. We see it in the next episode that she does look a bit distraught that they're leaving. But also, I believe Wendy might want to leave on her own terms, however, because she sees in the latest episode that Nibs has been restored, and that pretty much means that her memory has been wiped and they're going to use her however they want to use her. And she's wondering to herself, I feel, when is it going to be me, right? It could be me tomorrow, or it could be me in a year. Like, I never know. I can't trust these people. I need to get the hell out of here. So I think that Wendy is going to maybe plot an escape with the Lost Boys in the next episode. My theory, if she does do that, is that one of them is going to backstab her in order to gain points with Boy. And I know you're already thinking you know who it is, and of course it's going to be Curly who comes in and does this. So I think that that's going to be an interesting dilemma that Wendy is going to have to face, and I'm excited to see how that ultimately will be resolved. So we also do have Slightly here who has chosen Arthur, and now Arthur does have the face hugger on his face, so a xenomorph is going to pop up eventually out of Arthur. In the meantime, Slightly has to hide the body, and I don't know what the next part of the plan for Morrow is, but Morrow did tell Utani that the way we're going to get these specimens back, we create chaos and we go straight in. And I think chaos has been sowing already in Prodigy. Toodles let the flying things out. We also saw that now Arthur has the face hugger on his face. We're going to see eventually the xenomorph that Wendy has connected with get out, because in the trailer we see it's in the wilderness. And I think we also will see the Eye at some point as well make its final break. The Eye is like the mastermind, I'm telling you. That Eye, keep an eye out for that one. It wants to fuse with the xenomorph, but how will it do it if the xenomorph doesn't have an eye? I think the Eye will find a way. I really do believe the Eye is a lot smarter, so we'll see what happens. But I do believe we will see Morrow really set in motion the next part of the plan, where we might see Utani really come into Prodigy. This could turn into a sort of mini battle or war of sorts between the two rich companies. And it's going to be interesting to see who will be the collateral, because it's never really the rich people, right? So that's definitely on the table there. After Boy and Utani's whole conversation, where it was pretty much, give me your money, but you're not going to get your stuff back. And Utani was just their left dog. So I think Utani is going to go on the offensive now. I think they tried to play ball with Boy and were trying to reason with him as much as they could. Of course, Boy is like an asshole, doesn't listen, so he wasn't going to play ball. So Utani definitely is going to take matters into their own hands, and I think play the aggressiveness now, and I think that's when Boy is really truly going to go down. So that's going to be interesting to see in the next episode. Also, the creatures, what is the end goal here? We do have the xenomorph Eye. We also have these new flying things that spit acid. They did Toodles horrible in this episode, and I do feel bad for Toodles. Hopefully they find a way to bring him back. We haven't really addressed that either. Like, what happens to these kids that are hybrids once they're killed in the line of combat? Are they going to bring them back, or are they just forgotten? Kind of sad when you think about it, honestly. This has been an interesting episode, and the next one looks to be even crazier from the trailer. As we see, it's going to be spent the majority outside, so I think we're going to have some characters trying to escape. Maybe some other characters are trying to stop this, but one thing's for sure is the xenomorph is getting out, and I don't know how exactly it's going to play out. We see that Wendy has been trying to communicate with the xenomorph ever since it was like a face hugger, so it seems that Wendy might maybe get a bit attached to it. And there's a scene in this trailer where Wendy screams at somebody like, "Why did you do that?" or "What are you doing?" And I think that that scene is going to involve several theories that I have. So my first one is maybe something happens to Joe and she's screaming at somebody. Maybe Boy shoots Joe, maybe the xenomorph kills Joe and she's just like distraught about it. Now the other theory is the other way around, right? What if Joe kills the xenomorph and this causes Wendy to get pissed, or one of the other Lost Boys does this? Because Wendy does feel that the xenomorphs themselves are living creatures, which they are of course, but she thinks that they should be respected while the others don't really see what she's trying to say. But we have to remember she is the only one that's able to communicate with them. So there's something more to it that we just don't know yet, that Wendy knows, I believe. And that's why I'm very curious about these creatures. We need to learn more about them. And it's going to be a very interesting episode once they get into all of those details. And the final thing I think could happen here, why Wendy reacts this way, is possibly this is when she gets backstabbed by one of the Lost Boys, which I believe would of course be Curly, who has been trying to get on Boy's good side. So very, very great episode that's about to come out. Cannot wait. We will talk about it, break it down once it releases. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We are on the road to 50,000 subscribers, about 8,000 or so to go. So very excited to get to that big goal. But let me know your theories on what comes next. I believe Wendy and Joe are going to plot an escape. I don't think Wendy's going to really be keen on it at first, but maybe we'll realize that she's really not safe here after what happened to Nibs. And she'll try to bring the Lost Boys with her, but I think Curly will ultimately backstab all of them. I think the whole thing with Morrow and Slightly is going to cause this plan to get a little bit more dangerous, because we know Morrow wants to create chaos in order to infiltrate and take his specimens back, because they are his life work. Arthur ultimately has this face hugger on his face, so now that means that a xenomorph will be born at some point. And I think Utani takes this advantage that chaos has now been created in Prodigy in order to swoop in and take all of their things, and it's just not going to end good for Boy. I definitely see Boy really meeting a grisly fate, and I will talk about that in the video later this week where we discuss where all of these characters could end up by the end of the show. But let me know your thoughts and your opinions on Alien Earth. Are you excited for the next 2 episodes? Are you sad it's ending? And where would you rank Alien Earth amongst all of the other aliens? Comment it down below. As always, I'll see all of you next time. Hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow us wherever you can. Letterboxd, TikTok, Instagram. I'll see you all next time. Stay safe, stay positive.